Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful day, where we dive deep into the thrilling and ever-evolving drama of Genoa City. Today, we have a meticulously detailed exploration of the shadows lurking just out of sight, ready to engulf some of our most beloved characters. Let us unravel the tangled web of secrets, trauma, and impending justice. The sprawling estate of the Abbott family has always stood as a beacon of legacy and resilience in Genoa City, but a suffocating darkness continues to loom over their seemingly impenetrable walls. Dr. Lawrence Markham, a man whose very name evokes a visceral shudder of terror, remains a dangerous and elusive fugitive. The sheer injustice of his continued freedom is an agonizing pill for the Abbott family to swallow, serving as a haunting reminder that their safety is a fragile illusion. Markham is a psychological predator who weaponized his medical authority to inflict profound trauma. The fact that he is still breathing free air while his victims grapple with paralyzing nightmares is acting as a powerful catalyst for an impending storm. The narrative within the Abbott household is shifting to a relentless hunt for retribution. At the absolute center of this impending tempest is Diane Jenkins Abbott, a woman who has miraculously clawed her way back from the brink of destruction. The psychological scars left by her harrowing captivity at the hands of Dr. Markham are raw, pulsing wounds that refuse to heal as long as her tormentor remains at large. Diane remembers the suffocating isolation of her imprisonment and the chilling powerlessness she felt. However, she adamantly refuses to allow that profound trauma to define her future, actively transforming her lingering terror into a cold, unyielding determination to see Markham face the harshest penalty. For Diane, this manhunt is a desperate, primal need to eradicate a persistent threat to her family's stability. She knows intimately the horrifying depths of Markham's depravity. The historical context of Markham's heinous crimes adds a layer of horrifying complexity to his current fugitive status and the urgency of his capture. He is the sinister architect of a nightmare that nearly destroyed the Abbotts, having meticulously orchestrated the release of the deeply disturbed Patty Williams. By unleashing Patty's unchecked madness upon Genoa City, Markham demonstrated a chilling disregard for human life, treating traumatized individuals as mere disposable pawns in his twisted games. Patty currently languishes behind cold steel bars, a tragic victim of her own shattered mind and Markham's malicious manipulation, but the true puppet master remains untouched. Diane recognizes that Markham's unique ability to weaponize mental illness makes him an existential, unpredictable threat that must be diffused. A sudden, unexpected breakthrough in this agonizing stalemate has recently emerged through Tracy Abbott, the family's gentle peacemaker who now finds herself thrust into a dangerous psychological game. During a deeply unsettling video call with the enigmatic Martin Laurent, Tracy's keen intuition locked onto a crucial piece of information that could entirely unravel Markham's evasion strategy. She managed to glean the existence of a secluded summer rental house, a hidden sanctuary where the disgraced doctor previously sought refuge. This fleeting revelation was a blinding beacon of hope, but it came attached to a highly toxic caveat. Martin, ever the calculating opportunist, immediately sought to leverage this vital intelligence. He possesses the exact address, but has cruelly stipulated he will only surrender it in person. Tracy's internal emotional conflict regarding this ultimatum is profound and spiritually exhausting. She is a woman defined by her deep empathy and strong moral fortitude, yet the mere prospect of sitting across a table from Martin Laurent fills her with a sickening sense of dread. She understands perfectly well that Martin is deliberately setting a psychological trap, attempting to exert dominance and force Tracy into a highly vulnerable position. The thought of subjecting her gentle spirit to his manipulative presence is physically nauseating, yet the crushing weight of her family's safety rests heavily on her shoulders. Tracy is agonizingly torn between her natural instinct for emotional self-preservation and her fierce devotion to Diane and Jack, fearing the lasting emotional toll of confronting Martin. Recognizing the agonizing toll this impossible dilemma is taking on her beloved sister-in-law, Diane fiercely and decisively intervenes, absolutely refusing to allow Tracy to be victimized by Martin's cruel tactics. Diane's primal survival instincts, violently honed in the darkest corners of Markham's captivity, kick into immediate overdrive as she takes control. She proposes a daring, empowering alternative, bypassing Martin entirely and utilizing their own immense corporate resources to track down the summer house independently. Diane argues passionately, that they do not need to dance to the manipulative tune of another toxic man, insisting that the Abbott family possesses the intelligence and willpower to uncover Markham's sanctuary without compromising Tracy. This strategic pivot is a profound moment of solidarity. Jack Abbott's intense involvement in this escalating manhunt is fueled by a highly volatile mixture of protective fury and deep-seated historical trauma. The mere mention of Patty Williams is a visceral trigger for Jack, instantly resurrecting the agonizing memories of the brutal stabbing he endured at her unstable hands. He knows intimately the catastrophic consequences of Markham's psychological manipulations, having bled out as a direct result of the doctor's calculated decision to weaponize Patty's illness. The horrifying revelation that the same man responsible for unleashing that nightmare is also the monster who terrorized Diane pushes Jack into a state of terrifying rage. He is entirely consumed by the primal need to protect his wife and completely eradicate the suffocating shadow Markham continues to cast. Kyle Abbott is equally consumed by this righteous crusade, stepping aggressively into the fray with a simmering intensity that perfectly mirrors his father's protective wrath. The sickening knowledge that his own mother was violently held hostage, entirely stripped of her autonomy, and subjected to profound psychological torture by Markham, ignites an unquenchable need for retribution within Kyle. He is no longer operating just as a polished corporate heir, he is a fiercely devoted son fighting a desperate war for his mother's honor and safety. Kyle is actively aligning his investigative efforts with Jack and Diane, forming an impenetrable family triad dedicated solely to Markham's absolute destruction. He is meticulously combing through complex digital footprints, mentally preparing himself to do whatever is necessary. As the formidable Abbott family consolidates their immense power and sharply focuses their collective rage, a profound, unbreakable sense of unity emerges from the dark ashes of their shared suffering. They are operating together with a synchronized, lethal precision, meticulously piecing together the fragmented clues regarding the highly secluded summer rental house. Every obscure financial record, every hidden digital breadcrumb, and every whispered rumor of Markham's past movements is being scrutinized with microscopic intensity. They are actively building a comprehensive psychological profile of his evasion tactics, brilliantly anticipating his next desperate moves, and systematically closing off his potential avenues of escape. This is a highly sophisticated, emotionally charged manhunt, driven by a powerful family. Miles away from the fortified walls of the Abbott estate, Dr. Lawrence Markham is beginning to experience the suffocating, paralyzing grip of true panic. Hidden away in his isolated rustic summer house, the arrogant facade that once defined his cruel interactions is rapidly crumbling, replaced by a frantic, gnawing paranoia. The heavy silence of his remote sanctuary has completely transformed into an oppressive void where every creaking floorboard sounds exactly like the approaching footsteps of violent retribution. Markham is a highly educated man, and that very intelligence is now his greatest enemy, allowing him to vividly imagine the vast resources and unyielding determination of the wealthy family he so callously wronged. He knows deep in his bones that Diane Jenkins is not a fragile woman who forgets or forgives. Markham's long, agonizing days are entirely consumed by a frantic, terrified monitoring of the outside world, desperately searching for any minute indication that his secret location has been compromised. He is a pathetic man, completely trapped in a suffocating prison of his own meticulous making, utterly terrified to leave his hiding spot, and devastatingly isolated from the power he once wielded. The dark ghosts of his past actions are haunting his every waking moment and turning his sleep into a landscape of relentless nightmare. He simply cannot escape the phantom, echoing cries of Diane's terrified pleas during her brutal captivity, nor can he manage to ignore the chaotic, bloody legacy of Patty Williams. The raw, visceral terror of impending consequence is completely overwhelming his nervous system. The Abbott's investigative net is tightening around Markham with an agonizing, flawless precision as Diane, Jack, and Kyle successfully bypass Martin Laurent's manipulative demand. Through sheer perseverance and brilliant deductive reasoning, they are rapidly zeroing in on the exact geographical region of the hidden summer rental. They are ruthlessly analyzing obscure property records, aggressively cross-referencing shady shell corporations, and identifying the complex logistical support systems Markham must be utilizing to survive in such deep isolation. The initial thrill of the hunt is now entirely eclipsed by the solemn, heavy gravity of their final mission. They are seeking a final, definitive eradication of a monster, ensuring that Markham has absolutely zero opportunity to slip through their fingers or escape. Recognizing the absolute critical need for undeniable legal finality and permanent incarceration, the Abbotts are meticulously preparing to bring the highly respected Detective Burrow into their tight inner circle. They know that a purely vigilante confrontation, while perhaps deeply emotionally satisfying, could severely jeopardize the long-term imprisonment they so desperately desire for Markham. Detective Burrow represents the legitimate, forceful arm of the law, the formal mechanism through which Markham will be permanently stripped of his freedom and his physical ability to ever harm another innocent soul. The unprecedented collaboration between the formidable resources of the Abbott family and the strategic authority of the police department is creating a terrifying, utterly inescapable steel trap for the Doctor. As the final, crucial pieces of this complex puzzle violently snap into place, the atmosphere within Genoa City is thick with an unbearable, electric tension. The exact GPS coordinates of the isolated summer house have finally been confirmed, and the tactical, heavily armed plan is officially in motion. The united Abbotts are standing bravely on the precipice of ultimate closure, their hearts pounding fiercely with a complex mixture of lingering dread and unyielding resolve. Diane's eyes burn with a cold, triumphant fire, knowing with absolute certainty that the man who cruelly stole her autonomy is about to lose his own forever. Jack stands firmly beside her, a towering pillar of protective fury, entirely ready to shield his beloved family. Kyle is a tightly coiled spring, his rage channeled into a deadly focus. In the dead, freezing pitch black of night, the isolated summer house sits in total, eerie darkness, a silent wooden tomb hiding a terrified, deeply desperate man. Markham paces the creaking floorboards like a caged animal, his wide, panicked eyes darting frantically toward the reinforced windows as the distant, unmistakable sound of approaching heavy vehicles breaks the silence of the surrounding woods. The blinding headlights cut through the thick darkness like sharp blades, casting long, terrifying shadows against the fragile walls of his final sanctuary. He realizes with a sudden, sickening jolt of absolute horror that his stolen time has finally run out, and the vengeful ghosts of his past have arrived. As the heavy, deafening pounding on the front door shatters the quiet night, a terrifying question hangs suspended. Will Dr. Lawrence Markham surrender to the crushing weight of justice, or will this cornered predator unleash one final, devastating act of violence?